I am back again with another video. This one is going to be my carrot cake. I think I may have made this a little while ago, but I thought I would redo it since I'm baking and have everything ready. So I have two different sets of ingredients, wet ingredients, dry ingredients. So I have, I'm doing a batch and a half, so I am putting an extra bit of everything to make a batch and a half. But anyway, start out with 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and then 2 teaspoons of baking powder and baking soda, and a ½ teaspoon of salt. So that's going to go in there. And then I'm going to incorporate that, just using basic flour, all-purpose flour. It does say 2 teaspoons of cinnamon and a little bit of nutmeg. I usually put a little bit more in there because I like the that kind of cinnamon, more spice element, especially since I do a cream cheese lemon zest frosting. So that sweet and tart along with the spice of the carrot cake is so awesome. So I'm going to get that incorporated in there. Got nice and mixed in. A lot of times people will sift it just to get all the larger pieces out. I'm just skipping that part. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and now I'm going to do the wet ingredients. You'll do notice that the sugar I have in the wet ingredients, because in the wet ingredients it allows the sugar to dissolve just a little bit. So 1 1/4 cup vegetable oil makes these really moist and yummy. Then I'm going to do 2 cups of sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm sorry, reading the recipe because I have all of these tripled, you know what I mean. So anyway, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on the mixer. I'm going to just get some of that incorporated. To get the sugar mixed in. Then I'm going to add in, the normal recipe is for 4 eggs. I'm doing 6. This is such a good recipe. I do my shredded carrots very kind of fine because I know it's a carrot cake, but I'm not a huge fan of big chunks of them in there. It's not that they really show up that way because they're, you know, baked in. So get that incorporated, and then what I'm going to do little by little, the oven is ready to go. You look over to the other side. I already have my cupcake pans ready to go. And I try to do the flour little by little with the little feeder thing on here, so every time it goes in it doesn't spray all over the place, but it still usually gets some flour. Just keep adding the flour and dry mixture. Yep, there it goes. Now this batter seems pretty thick right now. And it is, but what happens is when the carrots go in, it releases the carrots, add a lot of moisture into the mixture. So you can hear the the beater working. That's because that batter is pretty thick. Gonna do a little bit of a scrape down to the side. Yeah, see that? That's pretty thick. But what'll happen now when the carrots go in, it will put a lot of moisture into that batter. Whew, carrots are messy. While I have that up, I'm gonna see if I can get some of that flour off of the edge of it. Wipe off the good stuff there. Yeah, that adds a lot of moisture to that batter. While I'm letting that incorporate, I'm going to do a little bit of a cleanup here. So I get my cupcake tins over here. Okay. Take that off, make sure I can get as much of this good stuff off of that paddle. Go ahead and set that in the sink. Get that off of the mixer. So again, I'm going to get down there in the bottom of this, just in case there's that little dead spot down there that might have some sugar or flour. So our cupcake tins are ready to go. I just use a quarter cup measuring cup because I think it really gets the right amount in there. So I'm going to start getting these filled up. About a third to a half. That way, I'm trying to get a lot out of this batch, so I don't want them to come up puff really high. But this batter does tend to settle over the edge and stick to the pan. So I try to keep it a little lower so it comes up right to the edge of that cupcake tissue. But anyway, I'm going to get these in the oven and I'll come back and then we'll look at what the finished project looks like and then do the frosting. All of them are filled up, ready to go into the oven. You notice about halfway, and that should make them puff up nicely but not come over the edge of the papers. So these have been in the oven about 19 minutes. Could have probably filled them a little less. They did spill over just a little bit, but they're nice golden brown, nice soft and tender. Those are awesome. I'm going to put the next set, because this amount of batter makes about 48 cupcakes. So I'm going to put the next one in, next one's in, let the other ones cool a little bit, and then we'll be back to frost them shortly. So the cupcakes have cooled down. Now I'm going to make the frosting for them. So I have 2 blocks of cream cheese. If you're doing one batch, you can probably do one batch. I'm going to probably have a little cream cheese frosting left over. Nothing wrong with that. So 2 blocks of cream cheese, 2 blocks of room temperature butter. So 1 block. One block for each stick of butter. And then I'm going to put the paddle on that and get those 2 kind of combined, what they call, get those creamed together. So So get them nicely combined. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my vanilla in. Again, just like your cake batter or cream cheese batter, or the frosting, you just want to keep the sides scraped down so you're getting everything incorporated into that frosting. Awesome. So I'm also going to add, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon and a half of lemon juice. And then about a teaspoon or so of lemon zest to kind of give it that little citrusy flavor. There's really nice kind of a flavor dynamic when you have the spice of the cupcakes and then the sweet tart in the frosting. It's really, really, really good. Okay. So this is where it starts getting a little messy. I'm going to have to wipe this down a little bit because I just had this in for making my chocolate cakes. It's good to have the guard on the mixer. It still doesn't do a 100% job in regard to stopping blowback. Still gonna get a bit of powdered sugar all over the place, but we'll get started, and then once it's all incorporated, I'm gonna come back and show you how to just do a quick, easy icing on the cupcakes. So it's about 4 cups of sugar per block of cream cheese, per block of butter, and then 1 teaspoon. So the basic recipe is 1 block of cream cheese, 1 stick of butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 4 cups of powdered sugar. And then you can add the lemon zest or not, depending on what kind of frosting you're making, or for what you're making the frosting. But that's the basic recipe. I'm gonna get the rest of the sugar incorporated, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I've got everything incorporated. It's nice and smooth. Still at a consistency that I can pipe it onto the cupcakes. And get this out of the way. Finally had to buy a new piping bag because my old one, after 10 years, the last time I used it at Christmas, it blew out. So this is a new bag, so I'll have to get used to that. So fold the bag down over your hands and then get it open so you can scoop that frosting up and get it in there. Try to get it down as low as you possibly can. Keep pushing it down. Yeah, I can see every now and then the little speck of the lemon zest in there, which looks really good. I can taste that, or I can smell that kind of citrusy flavor that's in the frosting. It's gonna go great with the spice. Okay, probably gonna have to fill that again. But gather up the bag, kind of cinch it up at the top, give it a twist, get all the air out of it back into your bowl. And then just start, give it a good squeeze, a little twist, and a little press. And there you go. Really easy frosting. And I'll be back when all of these are done. All the cupcakes are frosted. I just need to get them in the containers so we can get them over to the office for our awards banquet, or awards ceremony tonight. Looks great, gonna taste better. So my cake didn't turn out the best, but I bet you it's still really good. But here's my cheesecake with the 3 frostings and my carrot cake cupcakes ready to go. Looks awesome.